Hello, I am Alex, and this is my podcast series, Entertainment Voice. Today's topic is on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, one of my favorite series of all time. The series follows the Joestar family and their fights they face off almost daily, and this will be a massive recommendation for it. Today I have my guest, Julius. How are
Hello.
you doing?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just pretty good.
Yeah. First we're just going to go over the main premise really. First we're going to explain the main parts. I'm going to try and avoid spoilers really. Um, yeah. So in part one, it follows Jonathan Joestar, a a rich Englishman who is honestly he's a very kind person, right? And this is all interrupted with his adopted brother Dio stealing stealing the stealing the mask on the wall and becoming a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And then with this, and then with the vampire mask, his plan is to just purely torment the Joestar family, like overall.
Yeah,
But
so he's just like nonstop torturing them and crap, pretty much.
yep, I believe. Yeah, he stole Jonathan's first kiss. He murdered Jonathan's dog and poisoned his dad. All because he wanted the inheritance money.
Well, I mean that's a pretty valid reason. Okay, continue.
Yeah, I'm not going to explain the ending, however, but for spoiler reasons, obviously. But
Yeah.
part 2 follows his grandson Joseph, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's American this time. And he's overall a mainly comedic character. He like in situations like there's this one fight with an ancient god known as Cars, and instead of fighting him, his tactic was to run away.
Pretty smart tactic, if you ask me. I mean, only way to combat that is to run. You know,
Yeah, I mean he did have the power, but you know, just for safety.
just for safety. Okay.
Yeah. Part 3 follows the grandson of Joseph, Jotaro Kujo. He's probably one of the most iconic characters from the franchise, really. He's debatable with Dio, however. They're both pretty iconic.
Both pretty iconic. I don't know which one would you say is like has the more bigger importance in the series.
Importance overall, I definitely have to say Dio. I mean, he started it all, but if we're going basically off popularity, I might gotta go Joe. I might actually go Dio, and there's more references to him.
More references.
We'll
Yeah,
get
I
we'll
probably
get in
agree.
we'll get into the references later.
All right.
But yeah, they fight. I'm not going to discuss what happens, but it'll be very obvious in part 4 what did happen. So in part 4, it follows the cousin of Jotaro, Josuke, right?
Yeah.
And he lives in a pretty small town known as Morio. But there's a serial killer going around known as Yogashi Kira, and it is up to him and Jotaro from the last part to go and beat the serial killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his stand makes it very difficult. Again, more on that later. But yeah, I mean, most people hate the part, but I mean, I like a good murder mystery, so
Yeah. I think it's pretty interesting, and it definitely adds to just the overall story.
yeah. Part 5 follows Dio's son, Giorno Giovanna. Now, his theme is honestly iconic, so but his character is not really. So he's Italian, and his goal is to become a mafia boss, but mainly just to get rid of the drug trade. Really, I mean, he'll keep all the other parts, just no drugs.
Okay.
Yeah. and his main goal is to take over the whole and take over the mafia industry, and his main opponent of this is Diavolo, right? And he's not really a good person. But I mean, I do you think I should mention Diavolo's fate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so essentially he's put into a death loop where he's killed over and over again. I mean, it's kind of torturous, but if you really saw Diavolo's actions, it's kind of justifiable, really, but kind of not at the same time. You understand?
Yeah, so they basically just like kill him over and over again.
Yeah,
He
and
kind of just deserves it.
that's with a stand Golden Experience, and the upgrade to it, Golden Experience Requiem. More on that later.
All right.
And then part 6, which finishes off the original parts, follows the daughter of Jotaro, Jolene. And she was framed for I forgot what exactly, but it involved death, right?
Death, yeah.
And she was arrested and put into the Green Dolphin prison in Florida. So, and Florida's not a nice place, so you know what's happening.
Yeah.
The main villain of that part is Enrico Pucci, a priest who works alongside Dio.
I was getting to that. I was like, what happened to Dio? But he works with the priest.
Yep.
Okay.
And I mean, he kind of just, he also, I mean, he, how do I explain it? He sides with a murderer and an overall horrible person, yet claims it in the name of God. So, kind of ironic in my opinion.
Pretty.
Yeah, but
So I think we wanted to get into like the stands and like the character development that went on here to like really get the story, like have the story done well. So like, what would you say was some of like the most? How many stands were there?
oh, and there's way too many to mention.
Okay, well,
We'll just talk about some iconic ones.
all right.
All right. So first, I think we gotta mention Hamon before someone in the comments mentions it.
Okay.
So Hamon is a sun-based fighting style which uses the power of light and the sun to fight.
Sounds pretty strong.
Yep, but I mean it easily gets outclassed by probably the first hand in part 3, Star Platinum, which stops time.
Just like straight up stops time, like.
Yeah, but it's temporarily, so like.
Okay. Well, that makes sense. I mean, like time abilities and stuff are really, really powerful, and like,
Yeah.
it's got to be some sort of limitation on that.
Yeah, and then there's also the world, which is essentially Star Platinum.
Basically. Okay.
It's essentially copy and paste, really, but yeah. But part 4 gets a little more interesting with the stands, with Josuke's stand, Crazy Diamond,
Crazy Diamond.
which not only can he beat people up, he can heal, but like make their face ugly or something, you know?
Yeah. Also, does Dio have a stand?
Yeah, the world.
Oh, okay, the world. Okay. So like, not only is he a vampire, but he's also has like a cool, like super strong stand there as well. That's really unique.
Yeah, there's a reason why Dio is like one of my favorite characters of all time, really. Yeah, but anyways, he faces off against Yoshikage Kira with probably my favorite stand in the whole series, Killer Queen. Now immediately with the name, you know he's a serial killer, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so he basically has the ability to with a single touch, he can activate an ability that blows the person up and like hides all evidence of the murder even happening, right?
Yeah. I also want to mention, during one of the episodes of JoJo Bizarre, there was a scene where this guy, I think he had a stand, but he was able to turn the others into stone or something.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
I
But
know what you're talking about.
I think that episode was pretty unique of itself, and it had like, it's really cool.
Yeah, but Killer Queen also has some cool abilities. For example, like he has this ability known as sheer heart attack, where he can like send off like essentially what is an RC car and like blow people up. It reminds me of this one Call of Duty kill streak, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
It's not really important, but I just thought I'd throw that comparison out there.
Yeah.
And there's another cool ability he has. Another one bites the dust. It is a reference to a Queen song, but we'll get into that later.
All right.
Yeah, so essentially with another one bites the dust, essentially if he gets caught, he blows up the whole universe, and it essentially resets into like an hour before he was caught. Right?
Yeah. That's not. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, so but unfortunately his killings got put to a halt. But that's getting into spoiler territory.
All right.
Giorno Stand. I definitely want to mention that. He has the ability to create life with like a single touch. For example, he can turn like a rock into a frog or something. Or like maybe he needs a suitcase so he can turn that into like, I don't know, a butterfly, and then keep the butterfly and then turn it back to a suitcase, which
Basically, creation magic of sorts, but like heavily modified to only work on turning items into physical living beings or like animals of sorts, I guess.
yeah, so there's a reason why he definitely saves money on his carry-ons.
Yeah.
And then there's the main villain, Diavolo with his stand, King Crimson. Another one of my favorite stands, and essentially, he has the ability to just go forward in time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It may seem stupid, but it essentially just skips the time. Like for example, let's say if I was walking over there and then going to like across the room with King Crimson, I can just skip that like few seconds walking.
Basically, it's a song. It can also be like a Songs of War reference. Many of you guys probably don't know what Songs of War is, but they can time skip of sorts, like whenever they feel, like sort of like wormholes of sorts, but not necessarily all that much.
I mean the time skipping is kind of like a general thing, but
Yeah.
I think the main inspiration was the band King Crimson. It's an English progressive rock band, but again, more on that later.
All right.
Now, part 6 follows Jolene with Stone Free, I believe. Which it sounds stupid on paper, which is she can summon a string, but she uses it for her advantage to like get out of sticky situations or just straight up become Spider-Man or something. that's what she did in one chapter. I forgot which one, however.
That's all right.
And Poochie, he has free stands.
What does that mean?
That means he has free stands.
So like he could just like have any stand that he wants.
I mean, he has the ability to use CDs to steal stands, but those three are uniquely his own.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Which are Sea Moon. I also know there's Made in Heaven, but I forgot the third one.
That's all right.
Wait, let me do a quick Google search.
All right.
My computer does not work, but anyways, he has free stands, and they're all time related, with Made in Heaven being his most major one.
All right.
And made in heaven, it essentially speeds up time, and he did it so fast, he reset the whole universe.
So basically, this dude was like, "Hey, I'm gonna speed up time so much," and then accidentally reset the universe. That's
Yep.
crazy.
So we get into mainly cowboy times, and but that's part 7, and since there's no English release for the manga, at least an official one, nor the anime,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna skip
We're
parts
gonna-
7
yeah.
through 9 for now.
All right.
By the way, Poochie's third stand is White Snake. I forgot, but I can't remember anything.
All right. Well,
I also want to mention one more thing before we go into part 3. Probably one of my favorite characters from part 6, Foo Fighters. She has the ability to control water.
I think if I had to name like a favorite character out of all the characters that I've heard of, it would probably be Dio at the moment because I like that he's a vampire and I like his stand. His stand seems pretty powerful.
Yeah, I do like how cold he is. However, absolute pure evil guy. Like,
Yeah, it's like the mastermind behind everything. You know, that's it. That's his type of vibe that I'm getting.
you want you want to hate him, but like he does it in such a cool way that's kind of it's kind of commemorable, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, but let's get into the third topic, really, just like the eccentric kind of stuff.
All right.
So like most of the stands are based off on like albums and like bands. For example, Killer Queen and like all of its abilities is named after the band is after the band Queen, and Killer Queen is one of their songs. Sheer Heart Attack also being the album where Killer Queen is on, and obviously everybody knows Another One Bites the Dust.
Yeah.
King Crimson, I kind of mentioned earlier, is based on an English progressive rock band, and yeah, they're honestly very good. Highly recommend.
Yeah, I'd have to listen to them.
Their songs are kind of long, however, but
That's all right.
yeah. There's also Foo Fighters, which is named after the band Foo Fighters.
Literally. Okay.
Yeah. See, Japan has very relaxed laws on copyright, so like if you make a reference to like something like, for example, like a band, they can't really sue you, but if you like take the name in general, then they can sue you.
Very strict copyright. Not very strict, but pretty much.
Yeah, meanwhile in the dubs, they have like copyright versions of it. Like, for example, probably one of the most iconic ones is there's a stand in part 6 known as Limp Bizkit, named after the band of the same name, but their name is changed to Flaccid Pancake to avoid copyright.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So yeah. I also got to mention it's very prevalent in like Japanese and anime and Japanese and American shows, really.
Mhm.
For example, I know they reference JoJo a lot in Gintama. I'm not sure if you've seen that show, but like they make lots of references.
Yeah, I love it when a show does references because it's sort of like it just gets more interesting because like I'm like, oh wait, no way, I just realized that's from that one show or something, and it's like, wow, like, you know, it gets you sort of excited again that like you're seeing something else from something else. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically you're seeing something else from another show, and it's like really, really entertaining to watch it, like all unfold.
Yeah. So let's go over some references. So many animes are inspired by JoJo's. So yeah, not only that, there's iconic poses from JoJo that sometimes the characters do to reference the show, right?
Yeah.
And you think it just stops with Japanese, right?
Nah, it can't. Can it?
No. No, in fact, there's many references to it in like cartoons. For example, so like at the end of like every episode in JoJo, and there's a to be continued if it's a multi-episode arc, right?
Yeah.
And then the show Family Guy, one of the episodes ended with the to be continued part. Yeah.
That they use from JoJo Bizarre or something, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they used it.
Yeah.
There's also this pretty cool show called Amphibia. Highly recommend. But it's about frogs and stuff.
Mhm.
Pretty cool. And yeah, they make lots of JoJo references in that show. So
I would say JoJo Bizarre is pretty well known, and it has a lot of inspiration taken and used.
yeah, it even gets into kids stuff like Paw Patrol. Like I don't watch this show. I don't watch the show obviously, but I've seen clips of like some of the characters doing the poses.
Yeah, you'll just be like scrolling on like YouTube Shorts, and it just like pops up, and it's like, hey, that's a JoJo Bizarre reference, and it'd just be something interesting, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and you think it just stops at you think it just stops at like shows and stuff? No, like I believe one time the official Arby's account made an ad that referenced the Jotaro versus Dio fight in part 3.
That is crazy.
Obviously to advertise their sandwich, but I just thought I'd mention that. Also, I believe it was. I want to see it was it was either the Mets or the Dodgers. I forgot which one, but they used one of the theme songs for I believe it was either. I don't really watch sports, so I think it was either Jotaro's theme or Giorno's theme.
For one of their scenes, I'm guessing.
For one of their opening songs, because there are some athletes who have like opening songs for like when they go up to the stand and stuff. So I think one of the players for like one of their teams had like a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure song for it, which
Pretty crazy.
yeah, pretty crazy considering. But I mean, then again, there's lots of Japanese influence of like baseball and stuff.
Right. So it's obvious that it could have been that, and really helps to know that.
Yeah. And the show really appeals to like lots of people. Like it. Like if you want like a murder mystery, there's part 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like more mafia shows, part 5. Maybe you like action just in general.
Part 1 or 2.
The entire series, really.
Entire series.
But if you want more grounded stuff, there's parts 1 and 2, and if you want more crazy stuff, parts 5 and 6.
Well, I mean, in conclusion, I think the story is really unique, and it has like pretty much everything you'd ever like need in like your normal anime story or TV show type.
Yeah. And this is the conclusion question: should you watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Yes, you should, because the characters, the lore of it, they have stands, the magic, everything about it is really unique, and I really like that about the show. So like I would personally definitely recommend watching it.
Yeah, there was many stuff we missed out on, but we'd probably be here forever if we were just naming stuff off.
Pretty much so, yeah.
Yeah, for example, I wanted to mention some of the like side characters, and like maybe some of the like sub-villains and stuff. Definitely mention more stands, because it gets kind of crazy with how much they avoid copyright, especially with one stand name quite literally just Metallica. They're not even trying to hide it.
Well, I mean, sometimes they get away with it, sometimes they don't.
I mean, they get away with it every time, since Japan's copyright laws are just so loose, really.
Okay.
Yeah, this should be the end. Thanks for listening.
Yep.